Hey everyone, it's Brian here from Massey's Main Entertainment. We are back here this week, continuing with our series of the top five movies from 1960. Top five movies for each year from 1965 through 1979, and we're up to 1974. We're kind of closing in on that magic year. I'm joined again by my buddy Doc. Doc, how you doing tonight?
All good, my man.
Doc just celebrated his 30th birthday for the 10th year in a row. Congratulations. Randy, how you doing today?
Doing all right.
Randy's planning on going broke because I guess he's got a record store that's going out of business, and he's going to go get all our stuff before it happens. And Rich Strickler, who's recovering from a bad loss from his Eagles yesterday. Sorry about that, Rich.
Thanks for reminding me. I appreciate that.
No, all the love. So yeah, we're here at 1974. It's we're doing our top five movies. And each year's been kind of a different year, and it seems like once we're getting here in the 70s, it's getting a little bit harder in my eyes. So I looked at least probably 11 movies, and I didn't settle on my number 5 movie at all, guys, and probably until yesterday. And I had to go back and watch that one again just to make sure that I wanted that one in my top 5. What did you guys think in 1974? Somebody?
Well, I thought there were 4 that I had 4 that were locks for me, and then the 5th one is the one I was trying to figure out too. But
yeah, I think that's probably pretty accurate. I had too, Brady. I think I had 4 down. My 5th is a personal choice, but I had some other contenders in there that this is some of the first movies I remember seeing. I saw some of these movies literally at the drive-in, so gives you an idea. I was pretty young, but I remember seeing them. So
yeah, I think ditto for me. I had 4 that were going to make it all the way, and the 5th one was between maybe 4 films, and I went with the one I go back to more often than maybe some of the other ones that are better films per se, but this is an entertaining one that I picked at number 5.
Nice. Yeah, mine, same thing. I mean, it was like those first 4 were kind of a lock. It was just the order of the top 3 that was really challenging to me, to be honest. I think that if you asked me 3 weeks from now, it could be different. If I got to watch all the movies again sequentially, it might be different. But that's just how good it was. So the order tonight is going to be Randy's going to kick us off, and then Doc gets to go after him, Rich, and then I get to back clean up tonight. So that kind of works out. Be sure to like, sub, and comment down below. We really love when you guys list your top 5 movies as well, because I end up jotting down stuff all the time when I've never seen something before, and then I go back and watch it myself. So I really appreciate you guys doing that. Everything's going pretty well. I think we should just go ahead and start. Randy, you can kick us off with number 5. What do you got?
Well, the movie I settled on for number 5, I'm a big fan of thrillers and conspiracy movies, even though I'm not one to believe in conspiracies. But I picked The Parallax View for Alan J. Pakula. The movie begins with a political assassination, much like Robert F. Kennedy's. And then there's also a commission hearing, much like the Warren Commission for JFK's assassination. Warren Beatty plays this reporter that's always getting into trouble, and he's ready to look into this killing that I think it happened several years before he starts investigating it. It also touches on the outsourcing of national security measures with the Parallax Corporation, which specializes in the hiring of assassins, which Beatty kind of stumbles upon. There's this great scene at a water reservoir, and there's a great scene on a boat with William Daniels, but it's also has the great Gordon Willis expansive photography, where you have these long shots of Warren and how he is in relation to the environment and what's going on, that I think is really cool. But I don't know, just a great thriller, and I think, and that's my number 5.
Nice, good choice. Nice, Doc. What about you?
I was going to say that's a great choice, Randy. And you're right, that long shot thing is really, especially at the end, that's really, you can really see the spectrum that you're actually looking at in that movie. It's a great call. Mine, I'm going with maybe the controversial pick of the night. I don't know, but I'm taking the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, man. So, listen, it's the next level up of a wrong turn horror that you saw in Psycho 14 years later, or whatever the case is from Psycho. You know, Psycho's the wrong turn, things go bad. This is Texas Chainsaw Massacre, wrong turn, visit the farm, family farm, the neighbors are psycho, and you run into a messed up family and everything else. I consider it the ultimate B horror movie of all time, and I think it's very significant in the genre as well as horror. You don't have to like horrors or not or whatever, but I think it has a lot of footprints that take it a long way, that show you what a real, we'll call it a slasher movie, but it's got its footprints in a little bit more of a different side to it with, you know, it's creepy. It's this messed up family, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes wrong really quickly once they make the wrong turn and end up at the, shall we say, the wrong spot on a misguided adventure, I guess. But Texas Chainsaw is kind of a classic, man, and I've got no problem putting it in my top 5 of this of 1974, and I think it deserves the shout out.
I was wondering, you're kind of a horror dude, so I was wondering if that was going to slide in.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie to you. Parallax had to get cut, so, and I love Parallax View, man. So I'll give you an idea.
Nice.
There you go. What do you think, Rich?
I'm not going to comment on Docs, but I would say that Parallax View was my number 6. It was the one I had the hardest time cutting for my own personal taste. My number 5 is going to be Blazing Saddles, Mel Brooks, classic comedy, just pokes fun at everyone and everything. Gene Wilder here with a cast of Cleavon Little as the Black Sheriff. You got Madeline Kahn as Lily Von Stuck, which her scene is absolutely fantastic on stage. Mel Brooks, Harvey Korman, all the comedic legends of that time. There's no holds barred here. This is not a politically correct film, especially now looking back almost 49, 50 years ago. It just takes shots at everybody, a satirical comedy. You can't get away with this stuff anymore without coming under the the thumb of the the people that are going to cancel you and this type of thing. So I really enjoy Mel Brooks comedy, especially in 1974, where he's got a couple of them that are just all timers. Yeah. And I wanted to put this on the list. This is the one that I settled for an entertaining film rather than a deeper film like Randy's pick, which I did consider, and I still like that film a lot. So Blazing Saddles is my number 5.
Nice. I know that I think it was Robert Downey Jr. who and this what reminds me of what you were talking about. They asked him on Joe Rogan, they said, "Could you make Tropic Thunder today?" And Robert Downey's like, "You could, if you were willing to take all the heat that was going to come your way." You know,
I just want to I forgot to mention, the campfire scene, the quicksand scene. There are all these different hilarious scenes strung together. Alex Harris punching out the horse.
The toll booth scene is fantastic. I love that part.
They just line them up. So that's my number 5.
Okay, my number 5, probably a little bit more on the drama side. This was, like I said, this was like my last minute ad, and I picked Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore.
Wow.
Martin, early Scorsese film here that actually, spawned off its own, television show in Alice. Ellen Bernstein plays a lady who recently loses her husband, and her kid, she decides she wants to go to California, but, many twists between a cup and a lip, and she lands, in Arizona and becomes like a waitress at a diner. Befriends Diane Ladd, and who plays Flo, and then there's Vera, the absent-minded one, and then Vic Tayback, I think that's his name, right? The guy who plays Mel, who ends up playing Mel in the actual series. And it's about just kind of like, I love these slice of life type of things where you kind of come in on medias res, and and it's about, and it gives you an arc of just a slow arc of somebody's life, and how sometimes the plans that you have don't actually work out, but sometimes it's for the better, and things kind of work your way. So I believe that Bernstein, she won Best Actress for this role as well. Yeah, she did. She won the Academy Award for that year. I know that was true. And I thought Chris Christopherson was really good. They also had a very, very, very young Laura Dern in it as like the little girl that was in it. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Jodie Foster was also in it. So
Jodie Foster's in it.
Yeah, I thought it was a very good movie, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching it that second time, so I put it at number 5.
All right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Number 4?
My number 4 is one of my favorite comedies, and I'm going a little bit different than Rich. I'm going with Young Frankenstein by Mel Brooks. I love the old Universal monster movies. A lot of it was the look and the creepy atmosphere that they created. And here Mel Brooks and Gene Wilder, who helped write it, parody these early Frankenstein movies shot in beautiful black and white. Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Son of Frankenstein, and Ghost of Frankenstein. They take scenes from all of those and, you know, develop different parodies of them. And they also found that the guy that made the lab equipment was still alive, and they were able to get the lab equipment from their Frankenstein movies to use in this. And this time he actually got some screen credit, which he didn't in the early Frankenstein movies. But I think it's one of the funniest movies, and a lot of it has to do with the cast, as everyone has their hilarious moments in this one. You got Marty Feldman, Cloris Leachman, and if you've ever, I think it's available on YouTube, if you've ever looked at the outtakes from that,
it's hilarious.
Wilder cracks up almost every time Cloris Leachman says something, and she said he ruined like a ton of her best takes. But you know, Terry Garr is great, Madeline Kahn, Peter Boyle, Kenneth Mars as well, and has one of the great cameos of Gene Hackman as well. Yeah. It's just great fun, and that's my number 4.
Nice.
Yeah, best cover song of Putting on the Ritz, right?
Peter Boyle.
I love it.
Tremendous.
Doc, what do you got, buddy?
Well, my number 4 is going to sound like Rich's number 5, man. I got Blazing Saddles here. This is like, you know, probably a top 5 comedy in my life. So, you know, I can get into the details, you know, but, you know, the standouts for me, obviously, the movie's just actually classic, and the scenes that Rich touched on, you know, from Quicksand all the way up through, you know, the Fastest Hands, whatever, you know, from Gene Wilder playing on. It's hilarious, but I think Harvey Korman, every time I see him on the screen, I just cannot stop laughing anyway. So it's like, it's politically incorrect. There's everything wrong with the movie in today's eyes and stuff like this. But growing up and to this day, I'll watch it and I'll get to the point of crying laughing, man. It's a classic comedy, and yeah, my top 4 were easy, man. It's going to be placement, so the Blazing was there.
There you go.
Nice. My number 4 is Randy's number 4. Young Frankenstein. I got back-to-back Mel Brooks.
Look at you.
Yeah, they're too good to ignore in my eyes. Gene Wilder co-wrote the screenplay with Mel, and like Randy mentioned, perfect cast. Peter Boyle putting on the Ritz. It kills me every time I see it. The bookcase scene with Terry Garr and Wilder going down into the sun. It's tremendous. Shot in black and white. You know, an homage to those old monster films that Randy's talking about. Just it comes in at number 13 on AFI's funniest American movies, and it deserves that spot. Just one liner after the next. It's a great spoof and a fantastic all-time comedy for me, as is Blazing Saddles. They're both great, and that's why they're on the list for me. Number 4, Young Frankenstein.
Nice. All right.
Very good.
Okay, my number 4 is been covered. I've got Blazing Saddles here at number 4. I was wondering if some people were going to have both of his movies this year, and it's but this was my favorite of them. I mean, I love Pickens in it, and I love how, you know, Harvey Korman in it, and I just think it's just a great movie, kind of a tongue-in-cheek satirical take on Western genres, and kind of tackles stereotypes and racism in a very humorous way that probably just wouldn't be looked at that way in today's culture for some reason. They wouldn't be able to put aside some things and just realize that it's a satirical comedy, you know, making fun of those types of things.
Exactly.
I think kind of lampoons racial tensions, does all those things that, you know, that's probably the underlying part of it, is like, yeah, we appreciate the comedy of it, but it's the overall satirical nature of the film that I think Mel was trying to get across. And I think it's an important movie in history. And it's definitely one of the top 5 comedies, I think, ever. If you're ranking comedies, I would have Blazing Saddles easily in my top 5 all time. I think it's really that good. And so I had to have it at number 4.
And it's laugh out loud funny. It's really funny.
Absolutely. It's lampoonishly funny. It's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, we're at number 3.
Number 3 is going to be The Conversation, Francis Ford Coppola. A great performance by Gene Hackman as the surveillance expert hired to record the conversation of a couple. And much like the movie Blow Up, where the photographer finds more in the photo than he bargained for, in this case, it's Gene Hackman's character finding more in the audio, the conversation that takes place. But it's much more than a character study. But I mean, it's more of a character study than a thriller. And Gene Hackman's character as the surveillance expert, where he knows all the different ways to invade people's privacy, becomes more and more paranoid as he thinks that he is being spied upon. And there's the scene where he tears up everything in his house because he thinks it's being bugged. It's just unbelievable. It's a movie deserving just on Hackman's performance alone, I think. And the weird thing is he wasn't even nominated, which is
I know, crazy.
Yeah. Nice choice.
Very good choice.
Yeah. Doc, what about you, buddy?
It was such a good choice. It's my choice too. So, I'd probably just almost pretty much echoing everything that Randy just touched on. You're right about the surveillance and it's a slow burn almost in one sense, the way the movie moves. But it's Hackman's performance throughout of it. You can see he's basically almost slowly going insane as he's solving something that he doesn't even know what he's going to try to figure out. It becomes very personal to him as well as he goes through it. So, yeah, I mean, everything that Randy said and just those couple extra points would just make it. It's a top tier kind of movie, man. I'm a big Gene Hackman guy, man. So, sadly, he didn't make it, for Young Frankenstein because his part was so small. But hey, I got him in here for the conversation. So,
there you go.
Well, what can I say? I'm going to continue the conversation. It is the conversation at number 3 for me. Directed by Francis Coppola. Excuse my phone.
That's okay.
Yeah, you guys mentioned it. You stole my thunder as far as a lot of the things you're saying, which are dead on accurate. Just, the slow burn part I had written down, the homage to Blow Up, that with photography, this with audio equipment and wiretapping and so forth. A top-notch thriller, a character study, everything you mentioned, the twists, the turns. I love the cast, too, here. John Cazale, who we love in The Godfather, is Fredo, is the partner here with Gene Hackman. Alan Garfield as a rival kind of New York kind of surveillance expert who has a thing going with Hackman. Terry Garr is the girlfriend. Only has one scene, I think. Harrison Ford is the guy who hires him on behalf of Robert Duvall, who has a cameo. And then the couple, Cindy Williams and Frederick Forrest, are the people he's zoning in on. And, I don't want to give the plot away, but the paranoia comes into play. He develops a conscience when he figures out he might be in too deep and gave some information to the wrong people, whatever you want to say. But it's an all-time great movie for me. I almost put it number 2, but it backed up at number 3 for this. So we're 3 in a row on number 3.
Yeah.
No. We're 4 in a row.
Whoa, there you go.
Way.
All right. So I put it here as well. Like I said, these top 3 were just really, really, really tight. And I think like Randy touched on about Blow Up. Also, if you think about it in terms of I also said that Blow Up had a big influence on the movie Nightcrawler. And if you were to apply the principle of this movie about, government surveillance and invasion of privacy in today's world, think about how much of an implication, that it has on today. I wonder if Francis Ford Coppola had that insight into understanding, how much this could grow over time, the invasion of privacy. I thought, like you guys said, there's the story, but then I thought just the character study of Gene Hackman's character, where you know so little about him, and he's in a business and when he wants to know everything about other people, and you're diving in and you're invading their privacy, but it's like you had to really peel back a shell on him to find anything out about him, right. His secret type of lifestyle and secluded lifestyle that he lives. So I think you guys turned me on to this film. I actually remember I didn't even watch this film until this past year. You guys had said I should watch it, and then I did, and so it's in my top 3. Really great film. Love it.
One other point I want to make is it comes right at the time Watergate's happening too.
Yeah.
the hotel and so forth, and then the whole downfall of Nixon. So it's topical, just an all-time great movie.
Absolutely. We're at number 2 already.
All right.
Got some ideas here.
My number 2 is back-to-back Francis Ford Coppola. I've got The Godfather Part 2 here. Great storytelling. I love the parallel stories that you see Vito Corleone's beginning with Robert De Niro playing him as the young Vito. And then Michael Corleone's rise with Al Pacino portraying him and how life as the family leader has hardened him. Some people think The Godfather Part 2 is better. I'm not one of those. I still think The Godfather is the best one. But I think Nino Rota's score in this one, you notice more. And it leads us through the film and our emotional attachment to this violent, murderous family. I mean, Vito's ascendance is based on a murder as he kills this New York boss. And then you also have revenge is like a necessity within the family code, but somehow a lot of times we end up caring for these characters that are really not that well, or not really with somebody we should probably root for. Yeah. It's also got great Gordon Willis photography, which is he's mentioned a lot, I think. But also poor Fredo, just a classic. It would be number 1 in any other year, but it's just not this one for me.
All right, Doc, what do you have to say about that?
Well, I guess we're going to break the streak here about how things unfold, I think. So my number 2 is Chinatown. Here's a great story, with Jack, Faye Dunaway, John Huston. Jack playing basically a private eye here who's hired to go investigate something with her husband, Faye Dunaway's husband. And it really does weave just a tale of, deceit and anything you can think of, man, secrets and misdirection and who can you trust kind of vibe throughout the whole movie. And Jack is Jack. Jack's fantastic, man. I don't know. He's one of the best. And especially you see this during the early career stuff that we've talked about his movies as we move along, man. The guy's just a top-notch actor. Don't get me wrong here. Faye Dunaway holds her own, and actually John Huston's very well in the scenes. That he's very powerful in some of the scenes that he's in as well. So I think it's a classic movie, one of the top tier things here from the 70s again that I would just drop in the thing. And if there's only one reason why it's not number 1 for me this year, it's I think a pretty good reason on my side. So
totally agree. Chinatown's my number 2 as well. The star-making performances here, well, not star-making, but they stand out performances. Jack Nicholson and Faye Dunaway, what a pair they are together. John Huston, like you mentioned, in the supporting role, very powerful, very scary in a way. I mean, he's got a lot of power and just, I love the twists, the turns, the secrets, the mystery, the suspense, the great script, complex Robert Towne script, stylishly directed by Roman Polanski. Just a dark, modern film noir for the ages, and a masterpiece of 1970s cinema. And like Doc said, there's only one reason it's number 2. Any other year, it would be number 1. But I'm a fan of the great trilogy, so we'll save that for next time out.
All right, so let's see. Are we going to be an even split? Probably not. I'm going to keep Chinatown here at number 2 as well. Really, really powerful neo-noir directed by Roman Polanski. I guess maybe just a good rule of thumb, good-looking dame comes into your office asking you to take a job. You probably shouldn't. You probably shouldn't take it. Every neo-noir film I've ever seen, if a good-looking chick walks in and asks you to do something, you probably should, I'm not doing that. But you said, it's very well acted. The scenery, the way it's shot, it's all very interesting. If there's a neo-noir film maybe I like more than this film, it's probably maybe Touch of Evil by Orson Welles. I like maybe a little bit more, but this is such a powerful movie. It definitely would be in my top 25 of all time. Just so happens to be up against another powerhouse movie for the ages. So Chinatown's just number 2 for me. So we made it to number 1.
Here we go.
Like I'm the only one that got the correct one, but
well, at least we're grading on a curve.
Mine is Chinatown. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. Roman Polanski. You guys have all talked about it. I love the 30s LA feel, that great noir atmosphere. It's a cool mystery. And what is really engrossing is seeing Nicholson's character unraveling the clues, which I think is really cool. And it also has one of the most famous ending lines in movie history as well.
Yeah, that's right.
It's my favorite. I guess it's not yours.
Any other year, Randy? Any other year?
It's a fantastic movie, buddy. Don't get me wrong there.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Sure it is. But I think I just like The Godfather Part 2 just that much more. I don't know what to tell you. I think it's that's my number one. It's the sequel to The Godfather. And like you touched on even before when you did your synopsis there, Randy, it's, you know, some people had it at times. At times I probably did have it there, but in retrospect, The Godfather is still the best. But The Godfather 2 is hot on its heels, man. It's a classic sequel, and it's you want to talk about the arc of Michael here. This is where you really start to see it.
Absolutely.
His character. And the tugs, and this is another one of those things, you know, the family elements and, you know, the different things.
Yeah.
Deceit, backstabbing. You know, it's pretty vicious too, man, when it gets going. On the vicious parts of it are vicious, and the backstory of you know, Brando and De Niro playing Brando. It's got a lot of awesome elements in here to make it a classic movie, man. And I think Coppola's peak right now here in the early 70s here, and he's just nailed it here for a few years in a row. So what a great year this was for him. And to me, it was kind of these other ones are great. I love them all. To me, it was more like in the no-brainer kind of neighborhood for me on this being my number one for this year. No offense to the Chinatown pick you had, Randy. This was just an easy one for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
No question about it. It's number one for me. Godfather Part 2. What can I say? Al Pacino, the arc is amazing, especially where he comes from Godfather, the original Godfather. I love the De Niro stuff, playing the young Vito Corleone, too. You see what he had to go through, the hardships in his life, his mother being killed, his brother being killed, all that stuff in the flashback scenes. And they do a great way of editing this film. You never miss a beat. It's perfect. Poor Fredo, you know, the power, the betrayal, the divorce, all this stuff's in here. Cinematography, the set decoration, the score, all the elements of great filmmaking, and then the storytelling, the acting. It's just a perfect film. I do prefer the first Godfather, but if I had to make a list of my two favorite films of the 70s, it would be Godfather 1, Godfather 2, and then everybody else. That's how strong this movie is.
Wow.
So it's an absolute classic. So Brian, continue on.
No, geez, I don't know what's going to be here. You know, I got to agree with you here. Godfather 2 would be in my top 10 movies of all time. You know, just a few notches below, obviously, number one. Like you said, the acting in this is just so incredible. Even like some of the smaller characters, like, you know, the Hyman Roth's character, I thought did a fantastic job. And but there's the scene when they're at the ball and Fredo's running his mouth, and that moment of realization when he mentioned the guy's name that he had met before, that he claimed that he did not know, and that sudden stoic, pale look that you know, Al Pacino got on his face. I mean, you just knew that's just great physical acting. And I was like, that's such a powerful moment in there, you know. And then when he kisses Fredo and tell him that he broke his heart, you know, I was like, you just knew that Fredo's time was very limited in this world. So, but an absolute classic movie. You know, it's only inferior maybe to its predecessor, number one, when you think about it all in all. So had to be my number one for 1974, Godfather.
That scene also with Diane Keaton and Al Pacino when she talks about what happened to the baby and stuff, is just heartbreaking and so volatile. The argument, you're not going to take my children. She wants to leave, you know, the family and that type of thing. And there's no way, he's too strong. He would kill her in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
You know? It's just amazing stuff. And the stuff that Vito does in the early days, the violence, you see him in the original Godfather when Marlon Brando plays him, and he's kind of, you know, quiet and thoughtful and sort of petting the cat, and he's real gentle. Mm-hmm. But back then he had his ways, man, and that's where it all began. So
right,
he made his reputation, and he did it for family. It's a family kind of film, as violent as it is. That's number one. So
absolutely. So honorable mentions, gentlemen. We had three matches. The top three were all the same movie, just in a little bit of a different order. 8 movies total.
Wow.
That we picked only 8. So
Well, I liked the ones that you guys had that I didn't. I liked all the ones that were mentioned. I also had Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia,
yes,
California Split, The Longest Yard, Harry and Tonto, and The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
Yep.
They're all on
Yep.
my list. I love
They're all
the
in there.
Pelham. Pelham 1, 2, 3 is a great. Longest Yard, Harry and Tonto. I have Thunderbolt and Lightfoot with Clint Eastwood and Jeff Bridges. I like that film a lot. And The Parallax View.
Yeah. I had Young Frankenstein was number 6.
Yeah.
For me.
Tough cut.
I just didn't know how I felt about putting back-to-back Mel Brooks one. That was what kind of held it back for me a little bit. So
you guys had them all. Parallax View, Young Frankenstein, but just some personal ones I don't mind either. Like the Lords of Flatbush, I don't mind, and I don't mind. I saw Earthquake and the Towering Inferno, man. I thought
that's right. There was a big disaster year as well, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So they were kind of fun movies at the time.
Even though I don't go out of my way to watch it, it was a big box office hit. It's not my kind of film. It's Death Wish with Charles Bronson. That was a big hit back then.
It sure was.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum was in that, right?
Was he?
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum was one of the thugs in Death Wish. Yeah.
Another film that I just want to mention because it's got a reputation, but it's never been one for me, and that's A Woman Under the Influence with Cassavetes' film with Jenna Rollins. A lot of people like that. I just could never get into it. And Lenny with Dustin Hoffman playing Lenny Bruce.
Yeah.
Another one.
Yeah.
Strong year. Real strong year.
It was very strong. Well, thanks everyone for kind of joining us here in 1974. I really appreciate it, guys, that you joined us and we got these top 5 for the year done. Everybody, please like, sub, and comment down below. Please leave your top 5 so that we can chastise you if you pick the wrong top 3. We appreciate everybody that's watching, and we'll catch you next time. Look, next week we're going to be working on our top 10 movies for Clint Eastwood directing. Then we might have a special video that we'll do pre-holiday, and then we'll take a little break, get through the holiday season, come back out at the beginning of the year and start with the 1975 and finish up where we are heading. So, and thanks again, everyone. Catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Take care.